Welcome back to Bros in a Landfill. Sorry, ladies, Dizzy's single.
Your hosts for the week are the single boy Dizzy.
It's fine. I'm also gay.
Our taken boy Tar.
Hi.
Hello. I don't know Lunch's relationship status, but I assume he's a dude bro player, Chad, who's got a bunch of bitches hanging on his arms.
Yeah, it's really heavy. My arms aren't that big.
Lunch is taken. And by the way, I'm not single anymore.
Oh! And then there's me, I've got a significant other.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. For the record, full disclosure, I am not actually gay.
No, he's bi. There's a slight difference.
Oh gosh, my creaky chair.
Let's get off this topic fast.
Okay,
what are we
so,
talking about?
We're gonna talk Nintendo Directs today or some shit.
Yeah, this is gonna be 2 weeks late by the time this actually goes on to air. About who
we went from very topical last week to getting more views than ever to now a week late.
Hey, Fire Emblem is topical, and we can get a bunch of people from our servers to watch a Fire Emblem related video. Also, there's some other games too. It's the Fire Emblem and some other games plus a better game, better looking game cast.
Can we talk about
plus a better game?
So I don't know if I know Lunch has seen the direct. I know I've shared some videos. So I know at least on the we want to talk about Fire Emblem Three Houses. Maybe a bit about Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening remake. And I definitely might want to say a few words about Astral Chain because that looks fucking awesome.
Can't wait for Astral Chain Girl to be in Smash Bros.
That's
confirmed DLC.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah. So.
But also, I was going to say that. Actually, never mind. Let's just get started.
Okay. So actually, I wanted Lunch to start talking about Fire Emblem because he, in our Discord server, he was the only one who seemed to have optimistic thoughts about it.
How dare you? Optimism is not allowed here.
Everyone I'm seeing on the internet is like, I don't know about this game.
Okay, I guess you said you didn't play Fates, so that might be a fair.
I did not play Fates, but I don't like the look of Fates. I don't like how you can pet people in it.
Okay.
So I know that they took it out of the English version, but the fact that that's in the original DNA of the game is weird, and it's got that thing where you can get a special potion to make the gay character straight for you. So I don't even want to touch that game with a 10-foot pole.
Don't worry, Fates is really bad. The story is god awful.
That's what I've heard.
It went for me playing Awakening, thinking, oh, this is pretty cool. Going into Fates, and I'm like, I bought the special edition that came with all 3 roots on one card. While after it had already gone out of stock and was briefly in stock, I got 2 copies for myself and my brother. I don't think my brother ever finished playing the game, and I somehow made it through all 3 roots, and I want my time back. God damn it!
You sound like me.
You have no sympathy from me. You shouldn't. Yeah. After playing the game one time, fool me once, then you played it a second time in another route, and you're like, man, this still sucks. And then you played a third playthrough.
Okay. Look, let me.
What is wrong with you people?
Okay.
You gotta know.
Let me take a step back.
I don't play Fire Emblem, man. I don't know.
Fire Emblem is no Shadow the Hedgehog or Persona 5. It's not that bad. It has one decent route, which Birthright's completely bog standard decent. It's got the good feels that go through. The conquest for the first half is very bleh. The story is very bleh. The back I guess Conquest is a very mixed bag. It's got a really cool finale and has some really cool parts about it, especially if you've already played Birthright. But I don't like strategy. I'm not a big fan of strategy RPGs, and Conquest is difficult as fuck even on normal mode. Even on normal mode where you
I'm so confused. You don't even like strategy RPGs, and you did 3 playthroughs of Fates.
I really like this guy.
And you don't even like this strategy RPG specifically.
Yeah.
Try confirmed Dizzy.
Yeah. No.
Hey.
So Fates was the game that made me realize I don't like SRPGs. Fates was the game that made me not realize I didn't like strategy RPGs because what was nice about like Awakening and Birthright in general is that there is a lot of opportunity to grind. So I was never really like, I never really had to think too much. Like I never had to be a strategic genius while I was playing. I could play casually, and I had fun with the story, and I had fun with the characters.
Okay, that's fair.
I was gonna say like,
When Conquest came around, Conquest didn't have any grinding in it. Well, any potential to grind. And if you play Fire Emblem like I do, your team's going to be incredibly underleveled by the time you get halfway through the game. And that was a nightmare. I had to rely on the free DLC grind quests to I don't even know if they were free, if it just came with the special edition. You don't have to, don't quote me on that. But I had to do a special grind quest that I first had to be strong enough to do, because they weren't necessarily easy.
You needed to
do.
grind for the grind quest? Oh, wait, hold on. Hold the goddamn phone. I thought this started with, hey, let's ask Lunch what he thinks about new Fire Emblem, because he has a good opinion. And then we're talking about Fate's like 10 minutes!
I'm sorry, I'm just giving you the lowdown of Fire Emblem. And then the third route is the third route is god awful. It tries to throw in all these different like gameplay puzzle mechanics that don't work, make it more difficult. Like the only people that would enjoy the extra gameplay are people who love strategy RPGs and would like the extra challenge. I'm not that person. The story was not worth it. The final boss was not like, it was just generic final boss, Mr. Generic Son. There was a nice twist there was a cool twist at the very end before the final boss. But that's the only thing that the Conquest route has. Well, part of the problem with the Conquest route is also it spent so much. It spent like 20 chapters recruiting every character from both routes. So like no actual, like very little progress was made like in the first like 20 chapters because it was just recruiting people.
sounds like the ending of Devil Survivor 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the team was. Yeah. But yeah, that's my problem with.
So
Fates.
apparently, so Fates wasn't very good. I already thought it looked not very good. Though I've heard the gameplay is decent, but
if you like strategy RPGs, I can see you liking the extra gameplay, like the added difficulty in Conquest and the extra mechanics in the third route. I forget what it was called, Revelations maybe.
Okay, that's good to know. Also, I forgot what I was talking about. Fire Emblem Three Houses. Well, you know, when I first heard the title Fire Emblem Three Houses, I thought it was like a really artsy title because it made me think of 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. I thought like Fire Emblem 3 houses. I wonder what that means. Like that's so artsy. And then I realized it was like Hogwarts houses, and I was like, oh.
It's like literally 3 houses. It's like it went from being artsy to being literal.
Yeah, I was like, oh, 3 house. Okay.
All right, yeah.
So it's just you just played the whole game within 3 different houses. You know,
No, only
they're
one
only-
house.
Oh no,
No,
it's
but
3 houses stacked on top of each other.
Oh.
Okay.
It's Hello Neighbor all over again.
Oh
Oh.
no. Is it? Do they have a bug fix so the neighbor will stop falling through the ground at least?
No,
I don't know what we're talking about.
you're better off not.
With
knowing.
some indie horror thing.
Okay. All right. So when Fire Emblem Three Houses was first shown off at E3, I remember being a bit underwhelmed because I was hoping it would be like a really big AAA effort rather than like a slightly more ambitious kind of B tier game. But it does look a little too close to the 3DS entries, like just visually and production value wise. And there wasn't really much to hook me from the initial showing, so I was like, well, I guess it's still Fire Emblem, I'll play it. For the record, my Fire Emblem experience is Awakening and the 3 GBA games.
So more
So we
experience
could
than I
do
have
an
because
entire episode on Awakening alone.
Yeah.
We'd need GD for that, though.
Yeah, we would. That'd be unfair to GD.
Yeah, that'll be totally unfair. But when they showed off in this direct, I actually found myself quite positive on it. Having kind of gotten over like, okay, well, it's not as epic looking as I want it to be. Production value-wise, it is still a step up from the previous games. Like, there's definitely a real sense of scale. Like, even though the graphics aren't great, I really like in the battle screens, I guess, and animations.
I can get behind.
You can see like
I
this
can get
huge
behind
temple and these mountains and stuff. Like, you're used to looking at Fire Emblem like just from bird's eye, and like it's all very abstract, but like it looks a bit more epic being able to go in there and really see everyone, and there's like way more guys on the screen, so that's cool. And you can like rather than just character portraits, you can see characters gesturing and talking to each other. So that all sounds pretty cool. I feel like there's a real like upgrade in scale.
Yeah, I feel that.
I
I
also
definitely get beyond that. Yeah.
I also like the fact that this game seems to be very. There's a lot more focus on seemingly management of like the home base and the characters, which because I've never been the XCOM games, but I have played them and I really liked how like half the game was really intense battling, and then the other half was like managing all of your shit that's going on at home and like what you're upgrading and like what resources you have. Like especially during the GBA Fire Emblems, I found it a bit exhausting to just play one mission after another after another. So like having like something to fuck around with outside of combat, I think is really cool.
I'll say this because Fates had a had a hub like castle that you could build buildings in and interact with your party members and have like bonding and moments and whatnot. So like it's probably some sort of expansion on that system. I was like the Fate stuff was kind of just okay. It was run of the mill like my castle sort of situation. I think the most fun I had in it was the bath scenes where you could go and take baths with your characters. And
Fates, man.
Yeah.
Fucking
they played up that fan service seriously.
Yeah, well,
Camilla?
Well, it was more just the conversation. It was more the conversations were funny rather than the. I'm not
Awakening
big on fan.
also had a lot. Had heaps of support conversations, and they're really easy to get, which is nice.
Yeah.
I like that you could see them somewhere that felt like the home base. Like in the GBA Fire Emblem, support conversations happen just like in the middle of the battle of like the battle map, which is like, it's kind of. It doesn't really give off the vibe it's supposed to. But anyway, if they manage to expand on whatever they had with Fates enough, I think it'll be really cool having that home base feeling. And being able to actually walk around in it will also help that sense of it actually being there. There seems to be a lot of new stuff regarding combat that they haven't really gone into, but there's like combat arts or whatever. There's like stuff in menus where it's like, I don't know. I don't really know what this is, but it seems like it's going to change like the core gameplay a bit, which is really neat because these games are quite samey. So all that looks really cool. And now I guess I'll talk about the more controversial aspect of it, which is like kind of like it's like a college or school or something, and you're kind of like training units up. Personally, I know it's very tropey for anime, but I find it quite refreshing for Fire Emblem. Because like every game I've played so far in Fire Emblem is like, it's just okay. Well, here's an army, and then you recruit some mercenaries. Like
to add on that, I do.
And these games all have like very similar stories. So like the idea of like having these characters that are themed in a way where they're all kind of young and up and coming, and they look up to you, and you can train them, and they're from different areas. I think that is cool. And so then like the place where you're training them is like their school or whatever. I think that is interesting. And I also think that like because Fire Emblem has permadeath, I think the idea of these guys are your responsibility or like a mentor maybe kind of makes it increases the amount of pressure you feel about like whether or not you're going to get them killed. So I think that all that works together quite well.
Yeah, I do think that it does seem like a natural progression upon like the branching roots that Fates had. Like to give it a little bit more weight to the choice, where in Fates it was just like, oh, do you want to like, in Fates it felt like, oh, it's this monumental choice. Will you betray them or will you like which side will you go on? Or this it seems like it's a pretty innocuous choice. Just which house do you want to be a part of? And it'd be interesting to see what ramifications that has down the line. Like
I'm a little dubious of that.
I have procured one thought about the Three Houses trailer. Like it was that lady with the deep voice was going on about all the sorts of lands, and I'm just sitting here like, okay, why is this significant? Give me one good reason to care about all of this.
And
reason not found. Beep boop.
Welcome to Fire Emblem.
This is Japan.
Yeah.
The kingdom of
Japanese
blah, blah,
RPGs.
and the kingdom of blah, 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 is blah, blah, blah.
I think the one thing
that's what it sounded like, honestly.
I think one thing that fascinates me about Three Houses compared to previous Fire Emblems is that it's got surprisingly low stakes as a base concept. Usually Fire Emblem, you're always starting off in the middle of some grand war going on, where it seems here peace is already attained, but there's some cracks in the wall, people's trying to maybe start war and stuff. But you're always in the middle of conflict when you start a Fire Emblem game, where this is, oh, there's a school, you're just going to the school that these three nations send their best fighters, like send their kids to learn to fight and stuff.
I think it's really refreshing. Like I think after I played 2 Fire Emblems last year and also the mobile game, so I'm like something that switches up the status quo is really exciting to me.
I do think that by the end of the game, the stakes are going to be pretty big.
Of course,
like
they'll get to the ancient dragon some point.
Yeah. So one thing that if I do end up playing Fire Emblem Three Houses at some point, I do think I'll enjoy, like the natural progression of the stake, because there's more room for that stake to grow, and I'm never against starting off at a lighthearted, like more get to know the characters, get to know your team, having fun, growing, learning, and then shit gets real, because I guess to some degree.
Just make sure they actually get the shit getting real, because I've played a few games where things start out okay, and then they continue to be okay until the last hour of the game,
and that's
then it's like that's just whiplash.
Yeah, that's problematic in things, and that's going to be something that we're going to need to see if Three Houses pulls off. Like, when will, like, how soon will this, like, 'cause it might be like, oh, like the first 3 chapters are normal, then chapter 4, the big war plays out, and it's big whiplash too early.
As long as it I think the fact that it starts off kind of simple kind of speaks to I think it's the flip side of what Ty was talking about like, oh, why do I care about the kingdom of Fodland and whatever color the trees are or whatever. It's like ideally you'll get to see what this world is like before crazy shit starts happening to it. Because like in the GBA Fire Emblems, it's like, oh, okay, we're immediately just at war. Okay, I guess we're the good guys. You don't really know what's at stake. But I don't know.
I guess to the other extent, because every previous Fire Emblem is just, oh, there's this war, there's never really any sense of, like, the stakes are always, oh, the good noble country loses and the big dark evil dragon rises. Fates made it a bit more interesting, where you could either go with the obvious good guys, or you could turn the bad guys.
Oh, there was a bad guy in Fates?
Well, yeah, there are bad guys in Fates. There is.
Damn it! That's like defeats the whole point of the narrative, doesn't it?
No, the narrative.
No, but it's about family loyalty over the importance of not being a Nazi.
The point of conquest is to turn is that you're trying to trying to overturn the country from the inside rather than forcing it through war. So
shouldn't it just be 2 completely different ideologies battling with no clear like?
Oh no,
one?
Fates is not an the ideological.
So I was reading too deeply into this.
The whole ideological thing about Fates
is,
well, I guess the overarching theme of Fates is family bonds. Who do you side with? The people that are your bloodlines, or do you side with the people that raised you? And
I feel like.
Well, if one of them is evil, I think.
But because you grew up there, you know the actual people there aren't evil. It's just that the king, started, like, at some point the king became evil.
Is it just me, or is it a very Japanese kind of dilemma to be like, do I, go with the good guys, or do I side with the evil team because my mom's on it?
that's very Japanese. But as I was saying, the point with the conquest route is that
it does sound
the nuance of these people. Like, these people in the evil nation aren't all evil. There are good people, even like fighting in the war.
Yeah.
It's the fact that the king has gone corrupt for whatever reason, which you do eventually learn is because he was taken over by some sort of evil spirit. So the king himself was never actually evil.
By the way, this is a spoiler cast for Fire Emblem Fates, apparently.
Yeah. No, don't play Fates. If you wanted to play Fates, you would have played Fates already.
Come on. I was curious to play it, but now I'm not, because now this all just seems to be the irrational ramblings of bad people.
None of that stuff really matters, because the real interesting twists are at the end of the conquest route and the end of the revelations route. The birthright route is
this just Fire Emblem cast, or are we gonna eventually get to the other stuff?
I think I just want to say that birthright is your standard Fire Emblem. and that's it.
Fuck
Okay.
Fire Emblem.
I think
So-
the new Fire Emblem looks cool. I think people are worried about the new kind of high school anime aspect of it, but I'm optimistic that it won't be done.
I'm not.
It didn't really grip me.
It didn't grip me. I'm concerned how the actual mechanics behind the high school situation, like the school situation works, because I've never seen like a training people through school mechanic really work diegetically, other than just menus and let's send these people to this course, send people to this course.
It'll probably be pretty menu-y, but I don't know. I'll use my imagination.
I think one of the things that makes Fire Emblem interesting as a game series that the characters become better through fighting, not through like training courses and through classes. It's always give them a certain weapon. The more they use the weapon, the better they get at that sort of weapon. They gain EXP through fighting.
That's true. The leveling up in Fire Emblem is very satisfying. So it'll be interesting if removing making things happen off screen will kind of cheapen that satisfaction.
Or to the other extent, like they might still have those mechanics. All the school stuff might be extra.
I think it's supplementary, for sure.
Yeah. So if it's something extra that maybe you don't have to do, I could see that appealing to a lot of Fire Emblem hardcores, because I think that goes against the base appeal of what Fire Emblem is. I can see if they're shoehorning this, like this is the only way to get your students to become the stronger classes, or to learn certain weapons and become better. I can see that turning a lot of people off and becoming more of another simulator manager game rather than actually Fire Emblem.
I think it's a thematic gesture where the moral of the story is, if you don't spend time actually going to classes, you'll get fucking murdered.
Mm-hmm. And that's fair.
Go to school or die by giant battle axe.
I'd like to, since you are an instructor, I want to see what it's actually like, if they actually make some fun gameplay decisions and where you're teaching the class. That could
Can
be
you
fun.
take 3 points from Gryffindor kind of thing?
Yeah, like that sort of.
Uh,
I think the only thing
Alright.
I'm interested really is if the three routes, like the three houses, if it's just the same story with different people, or if it's the three stories that start off the same then branch off. That's what's probably going to really sell it for me, because I
Yeah.
like seeing those branches. Where
I
I'm not
should hope that it's going to be the second, but
because if it's the same story with three different characters, what's the only people who are going to replay it are the people who really like to replay Fire
I want
Emblem
to
games
play 50
anyways.
hours of the same thing. Yeah, I hope that's a meaningful choice. That's the one thing about this game where I'm like, wouldn't
that
it be
is
better
going
just
to
to
be the
centralize all of the
crux
characters?
of that game.
I think the only reason why
Otherwise,
I'm,
it may as well be called Fire Emblem One Really Big House.
I'm gonna give my final word on this. Is I think the main reason why I'm put off is I'd rather be a student than the teacher, but that's me. I like playing this sort of like.
It's more traditional for that kind of game to be the student rather than the teacher.
Then
But
again-
since you have to be the head of all of your units, then you have to be the teacher.
Yeah, rather
I'm the
than just
class
being-
captain. Now run into battle.
It'd be
That's
interesting
the
if
other thing.
I'm late for school.
I mean,
Wait,
you could have.
I graduated.
Instead of being a instructor, you could have.
Wait, I'm a teacher.
You could have had more of maybe a Ruby situation where people get paired into groups and you're the leader of your group.
You need to have more of a Ruby situation, which is to say just a lot of stupidity, nonsense, unexplained
you could
powers,
have a Ruby
ridiculous weaponry, poorly made out battle scenes, and gayness.
Oh God, we're gonna get distracted again. We need to
Okay.
move on.
Anyways,
Suck
I
it,
want-
Rooster Teeth!
This is what you get for kicking Vic Mignogna. Rah!
Oh no! You made us political.
Fucking
Mario
hell.
Maker 2.
Quick, let's talk about Link's Awakening! Quick!
Quick words on Mario Maker 2. I don't care. Let's move on.
I don't care.
That was a really quick. I am excited.
Damn it!
I never played the first one, and it looks cool, and I like Mario.
If you haven't played the
and
first-
they're
if
adding
you haven't
slow.
played the
These
first-
people are sitting on me.
If you haven't played the first one, you'll love Mario Maker 2. That's all I'm going to say. Let's move on.
I hate this episode.
Can I say anything about Mario Maker? No.
Okay, if you want to say something about... Because I played quite a bit of the original Mario Maker. If you want to say anything about Mario Maker, go ahead.
I just want to say that Super Mario 3D World is my favorite Mario game, and the fact
Trash!
that
I hate you!
I fucking hate. I'll fight you on
I
this.
don't care.
I'll
I'm
do
not
a whole
big Mario-
pro talk.
I don't care for like platformers and Mario games in general, so I'm just memeing and shitting.
I think what we're all
Fucking
really
shitty
looking
memer.
forward to with Super Mario Maker 2 is for the Game Grumps to play Ross's new and improved horrible
That will be amazing.
levels.
That would be. We're gonna have to do like an impressions cast of that where we just watch it together and talk about it, and then overlay that on the Game Grumps episode, and then we just upload that on our channel, and totally not get copyright striked.
Can we do that?
How about no,
No.
Chief?
Yeah.
Look, I just want to say that Super Mario 3D World has like a new like you can play in that style in the new Mario Maker, which is awesome with Cat Mario and stuff. And that's my favorite Mario game, and so I'm really excited that you can do that. That's all.
I hope-
Because I thought the game was
Make
just going
me
to
a
get forgotten
Super Mario
about because Odyssey
Galaxy
came out.
Maker.
I hope you enjoy it, and if it ever goes on sale, I might pick it up because I'm not buying Mario Maker 2 after buying Mario Maker 1 and playing it for a week.
Make Super
Sure.
Mario Galaxy Maker. There you go.
In the,
That'd be
wonder if
something
in the-
I'd be interested in.
I wonder if in the 3D world there's actually going to be an actual Z-axis. I
No
doubt
way.
it.
It's
No,
it's
but-
it's a 2D thing, but
Yeah.
I wonder
but
if we'll
yeah,
find
it's still got all
Pokemon
the mechanics where you
ZNets.
can climb and you can go on the trees and shit. It just looks cool.
Yeah, for me, the reason why Mario Maker didn't sell too much for me is I'm not a big fan of those like sort of platformers, and I'm not creative enough to make good stages.
This sounds like a terrible purchase for you.
Oh no, it was a complete
You
waste
don't-
of $60 for me.
I don't
I
like
wasn't-
Mario and I don't like making. Hey, what's this game?
And you know what the sad thing is? I was really excited for the game, and I had a lot of fun with it. Like the first few weeks I had it, and then I moved on to another game. So let me phrase it like this: I don't like Mario, or 2D platformers like that, and I don't like creative games. I loved Mario Maker, so leave it at that.
Wow, that's some
You
kind
loved
of
Mario Maker for a week.
Okay,
That's,
part of the
that's
problem.
longer
okay,
than
part
I
of the
love
Let's be
Shadow the
real.
Hedgehog for.
part of the reason, why I moved on was because there is no end state to Mario Maker, and I have a shit ton of games in my backlog. If I get through all my games, I might
Tell
go
me
back
about
and
it.
actually play Mario Maker.
Let me-
I actually would go back and play Mario Maker if I got through the rest of my shit.
God, there are so
Sorry,
many
let-
games I would love to talk about, but we
know.
should move on.
Yeah.
Link's Fucking Awakening 2! Not 2, it's just a remake. It's just a port.
I don't care.
You can't call Link's Awakening the new one a
Okay,
port.
Okay,
I'm
I'm
calling
gonna
it
say
a
this.
port.
remake.
they-
And
I'm gonna say this.
fuck.
The reason why you know the new Link's Awakening is trash is because they did not call it Zelda Link's Reawakening.
No,
I'm going to
they did not.
try. I'm going to go to your house and I'm going to knock on your door and I'm going to leave a plate in front of your house and then you're gonna open the door and you're just gonna find a plate and you're not gonna know what the meaning of it is and
Well,
now
no, well,
it'll
because
haunt
you-
you forever.
Well, now I know because you told me about it.
You'll never know the meaning of the plate though.
No, but I know that the meaning of the plate is that you're trying
Is
to
to fuck with
question
you,
the meaning
yeah.
of the plate.
No, there's another meaning aside from that. But anyways, this is
They
just
called
my
me a
subtle
dish.
revenge. No.
Okay, so
Racist
Link's
and
Awakening.
sexist.
I've never played the original Link's Awakening. It's one of my brother's favorite games of all time, and he's been trying to get me to play it for years. And I think the new Link's Awakening looks kind of neat, but it doesn't feel like it feels like a reimagining where like they changed the whole aesthetic and stuff.
Yeah.
And so if I were to play
Yeah,
that
Link
instead of
looks
playing
like a
the
fucking bobblehead now.
exactly,
It
and
looks-
like it's cute, but like I think part of the appeal of Game Boy graphics is that like you can kind of imagine it as however you want because like there's not that much information to go off pixel wise. So like, but then when you turn it into 3D and you say, oh well, they're little toys, it kind of takes away some of the imagination, I think, and it's kind of why it's weird to remake a game like this.
Yeah. This
Yeah,
feels like to me like if they made instead of making Link Between Worlds, if they just made a Link to the Past remake with those graphics. That's what it feels like to me. Where Link Between Worlds had extra value to play because it was a new Zelda game. It had new dungeons, new puzzles, a new mechanic.
And you could go on walls.
Yeah, that was so much fun. That was so much fun.
To be honest, I'm a bit disappointed with like I've really been wanting a new 2D Zelda, and the idea that could be on the Switch seemed epic. But I just wish that it was a new game.
Yeah,
I don't like want to.
because they remade they already remade it for the 3DS with Link's Awakening DX, and I didn't play that, but I got the impression that it was part of the reason why they kept the graphics like that was because it was part of the appeal.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like things in the past were made that way for a reason, and sometimes that reason was just the limitations of the time. But to recreate the limitations it seems kind of like self-defeating.
Yeah, well, it's like everything. I watched an Arlo video about this, and he was talking about how like it's kind of weird how like it's a remake, and so that means that like all the plants have to be in the exact same square tiles as they were before for some reason. It's like it seems like almost like autopilot. I think just I don't know. I'm not really into the whole toy aesthetic. I think is kind of neat, but it feels almost played out by Nintendo at this point. We've had Kirby's Epic Yarn, we've had 2 Yoshi wool games, Kirby and the Rainbow
That
Canvas or
Animal Crossing
whatever.
discussion we had it was last week, right? No, 2 weeks ago.
I personally think Link Between Worlds looks better. Like, just
Me too.
Link's Awakening is so bright that it feels like there's so many colors and like going on the screen that it's kind of hard to look at. Like I never know really what I'm supposed to be looking at because there's so many things grabbing my attention.
Are you talking about the new one or the
Link's
old
Awakening. Oh no, the new Link's Awakening.
one? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Thing is, I just can't get excited for a remake of just because I'm like, why don't you just do the simple thing and just completely resell the old thing? Am I supposed to clap my hands that you just redrew a bunch of old assets that you didn't need to?
I would have preferred if they gave it the Link Between Worlds situation where it's like the same setting but like with new dungeons, a different story, but like a sort of sequel to Link's Awakening.
And a completely different
Do we know
system
for
of
certain
moving around the world.
Do we know for certain if this is going to be a 100% faithful recreation?
I think the maps and stuff look exactly the same and is jumping around
Okay.
on Goombas.
Good
I
enough
think
for
it's
me.
a
What I wanted to
remake.
talk about.
I just feel like Zelda would have Nintendo would have made more money off it. More people would end up buying this if it was a sequel to Link's Awakening rather than a remake.
Well, a
Because-
sequel too, yeah.
Ah, they're just trying to stretch that nostalgia dollar because
No, but
that is the
but
one
here's
thing that Zelda fans will crave more than
No,
anything
but here's the
else.
thing: if it was a sequel to Link's
Clearly it's
Awakening,
not.
if it was a sequel to a Link's Awakening, it hits that nostalgia dollar, and it's new and interesting. So people are like, "Hey, it's not just the same game I've already played 100 times that I might still have. I might have on my 3DS." Because the fans of Link's Awakening already have it on their 3DS in the forms of Link's Awakening DX.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
can think of a way better game to remake though. Now that we have a system that's way more suited for it, redo Four Swords because like it was completely
God, that's-
like
I
thought they already
impossible to
did.
play before.
Four Swords
Because-
is
I
the
thought they already
perfect,
did
Four
that.
Swords is the perfect system for the Switch. It's the perfect game for the Switch.
Yeah, man.
could have-
'cause
Oh, this is on Switch?
Yeah, this is on Switch.
Oh.
the new Link's Awakening is on Switch. So
Yeah.
like they should
That
have done
just makes
Four
me more
Swords, and then you could
perplexed.
like it comes with 2 controllers and
comes
like
with 2.
only uses a few buttons.
Yeah, you could hook up 4. You could connect 4 Joy-Cons, or you could do it in local play where you have 4 Switches playing it.
Yeah, it would be
Well,
like
see,
that.
that changes
that
things
seems
slightly
like-
for me because
Well,
Sorry.
it's a waste almost what they're doing.
They could totally make a sequel to Link's Four Swords, or like an expanded version. Like this is Four Swords, but we have more content in it on the Switch.
Yeah, or
Yes.
like yeah, and
it's like
it would be
Legend of
cool
Zelda
'cause it'd be-
sequels sell. Legend of Zelda sequels are some of the most popular Legend of Zelda games. People love Majora's Mask. People love Wind Waker. People love the one that Tri has been mentioning that I somehow forgot the name of, Link Between Worlds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
People love Legend of Zelda sequels.
Give us Four Swords, I guess 3, because they already did Adventures.
No,
Even if
wait,
they
wait,
Give
just
us
ported it,
6
that'd be
swords.
sick.
No.
Illuminati confirmed.
no, make 8 swords.
No.
Just
That would
double
be-
it.
Too many swords.
Imagine
Too
trying to
many
do fucking
swords.
Puzzles with 7 other people. God damn.
But think about that. Or you could have like 2 teams of 4 Links competing.
Oh,
I know,
gee, that's
guys.
crazy.
But,
I'm
like,
imagining
they-
like
they-
just
See,
like
I
going
feel
inside.
like 7 is far greater than the average number of friends Nintendo fans have.
No, but,
Excuse you, I know 8.
okay. Think about it. Think of Four Swords. Think of Four Swords competitive mode where you have 2 teams of 4 Links competing to complete an objective before each other, or more points or whatever.
You know what?
Definitely
You know
be
what,
something
Tar?
more creative.
What?
You know what, Tar? I'm gonna challenge your comment about Nintendo fans' numbers of friends with Smash Ultimate's 8-man brawl.
No, but see, Smash.
You know how difficult it is to get 8 people in the same room?
Bring it to work, bitch.
That's because of a lack of controllers. It's not because of a lack of friends.
I don't think there's any way to plug in Smash Brothers at Subway. So I can't really do that.
I actually played it at my school. most we usually get is 5.
Yeah, but
That's
school's
still
for
good.
nerds.
What?
And Smash Bros is also for nerds, nerd.
I'd rather be a nerd than what I am right now.
Dizzy.
A defeated Husk.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah.
Astral Chain.
Astro fucking chain fucking
Let's
fuck.
move on again.
Chain!
Let's move on again.
So like the only platinum game I've played is Bayonetta, and I hate myself because of it.
What?
Wow.
Wait, oh, this is the same studios as Bayonetta?
Yeah, platinum.
Okay.
There's no band.
I've never
It's so
played Bayonetta
obviously a
either,
platinum
but
game.
X2.
It's obvious.
This is
I
the
am-
most
I-
platinum game in existence.
This is like
Supposedly.
something that I want to get on release. It looks so cool.
It's very like it's so dense in terms of like detail and like shit that's happening on screen. It's like visual overload. It kind of
Yeah.
reminds me of when I was like playing some of the levels in Sonic Mania, where I'm like, I think my brain is starting to melt out of my nose. I'm like, it's awesome, but I almost can't handle it.
It's got this like Earth Defense Force sort of vibe going for it too.
I feel like if I did pick this game up, it's going to be just another thing that I play for a day and then just put down indefinitely, like Dark Souls, Mass Effect, whatever else.
played-
You
have
son of a bitch!
Have you played Bayonetta or Wonderful
I have
101?
not.
Okay, so these sorts of games are more of your hack and slash, high action, big.
I saw the
big-
trailer.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you got your
Make no
fast-paced
mistake.
your fast-paced high action crazy anime bullshit happening all over the screen. And part of the appeal is that like you go from like I guess what I find interesting about like these platinum games is that in terms of their stages, it does follow that very simple beat 'em up hack and slash of you start the level, you go through you slowly get more and more enemies until you get to the boss. But platinum bosses are nothing like revolutionary and to some degree. Like the bosses in Bayonetta was like I think of something like Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is very much like a hack and slash, and it takes like till like near like the end of the game or even like Kingdom Hearts 2 to get to some of the more impressive bosses. Bayonetta throws impressive bosses at you from like World 1, and they just keep getting more and more extreme until the final boss battle that is. Like
That sounds really boring.
what?
That sounds really boring.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the final boss in Bayonetta was pretty bad, but that was like
You don't have to change your opinions just for me. I just
no,
want
no,
you
no,
to
no,
know
no,
them.
no. I was going like it was. You were about to like. I was about to get to like a joke there, where I was just like, you get like these
Oh.
bigger, better.
I ruined your joke.
ruined my-
just
you
like
got,
I ruined your life.
Yes, like these bosses.
Don't you end up throwing Jupiter at the final boss of Bayonetta?
No, that was
Guys, we
Bayonetta
stop
2.
with the spoilers.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
So like,
Hey guys, did you know
you
that Gwyn's the
throw
final boss of
Jupiter?
Dark Souls?
I don't actually fucking know.
but one of the
That's just what I
Just a
heard.
spoiler warning: you may or may not throw Jupiter at the end of Bayonetta.
Spoiler warning: Super Mario fights Bowser.
but part of
Fuck.
part of what makes platinum games so much fun is all the crazy chaotic bullshit that that goes on screen and throughout the game. What I like about the first Bayonetta is all the weapon options and the different combos that come along with them. So if you ever get tired of doing the same moves over and over again, you can swap it up. You can put like the gun. You can like put guns on your feet. Like you got like
That is a thing she
Gun
does.
feet is like my favorite thing about Bayonetta. It's
I know, that's really
incredible.
I try.
You can go between having guns, like using guns on your hands, big ass claws, a fucking katana that kicks ass.
We got
and-
katanas, we got claws, we got guns for your hands, we got guns for your feet, we got fucking everything.
Yeah. And you can
Do you have a
attach
good story?
and you can attach.
Isn't there like a
Bayonetta story is like I wouldn't classify it as good, but you're not really going in to it for a good story.
You're going in to watch Bayonetta be smarmy and kick dudes.
Yeah, it's
With
one of
their
those.
guns.
I got enough of that from this show.
You're welcome, Dizzy.
Bayonetta is definitely one of those like B action movies that they just the story's there to justify cool shit happening.
You know what I qualify as a good plot? A plot that makes sense. It doesn't have to be extreme, extravagant, or even be 3 hours or 30 hours long. I just need to know what's happening.
I mean,
That's
don't
it.
know,
That's all I want.
I mean, the
I just
Bayonetta
want to
plot's-
know what's happening.
I mean, the Bayonetta plot's not terrible.
You'll
It's
not-
like, and I haven't played the second game, but
If you can follow it, then it's a good story in my book.
yeah,
I
mean,
played
it's-
about 8 hours of Bayonetta, and I can't tell you I knew what was happening. Something about
Then I'm
witches
not
and
interested.
the past and
Angels that are apparently assholes.
and
Well, it's
like you go to
Japanese,
the bar.
isn't it?
It's like, hey, I'll sell you some weapons. And
Bayonetta was a game with a
fucking get a
Bayonetta
drink.
was a game that was designed to have a sequel, but they never. But no studio wanted to give them a sequel until Nintendo's like, "Yo, we'll make you a sequel. We'll let you make a sequel."
How is it that I played Persona 2 and that game made no sense at all, but I could understand what was happening? But like, I'm being told this game just makes it's just nonsense.
Wait, so okay,
Bayonetta's one,
we're-
I guess Bayonetta is a game that's fun to play, and it's fun to laugh at the absurdity that happens. But
So
I
it's
will
not
say-
like Persona 2.
yeah, it's Persona 2 is a very like methodical RPG where there's
Persona
a lot
2
of
is very slow.
yeah,
would
it's
you
very
guys
slow, very
mind if
methodical.
I dragged us back to Astral Chain?
Yes, Astral Chain.
Yes, I would actually.
I just
Fuck
needed- I just
Astral
needed an
Chain.
excuse- I just needed an excuse to put Bayonetta's boobs in the thumbnail.
Of
Ah,
course.
there you go.
They're not even that good.
Objectifying women gets you clicks.
It
I
does.
will end you.
Objectifying Dizzy doesn't get you clicks.
Well, there's nothing to objectify.
Anyways, Astral Chain.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You
I
took the
don't want to
snake out of
touch
your
that
logo.
discussion.
Yeah.
Astral Chain
That's the
looks
end of the
crazy.
discussion.
It looks even more Bayonetta than Bayonetta, except without like the sense of humor.
Except with technology.
Yeah, it seems like it doesn't. It's not really designed to make fun of itself. But I think the fact that it believes in itself so hard might end up being funny anyway.
Yeah.
Uh,
I really
yeah.
dig the monster designs in this thing. Like,
What's the opposite of minimalist? Is it
Maximalist.
maximumist?
extravagant.
Overabundance.
I don't know if that's a word, but I'm gonna fucking take it. This game is verbundant as fuck. There's a lot happening.
There is
I'm
a lot
curious as to whether or not it will run okay. Cause
Oh, this is gonna run terribly. What are you talking about?
I mean, if Pokemon makes your 3DS lag, is this game for
It's
3DS?
for Switch.
no, it's not
That's
for
for
3DS.
Never-
Look
I
at
don't
this
know.
shit. You think the 3DS could handle even one frame of this fucking game?
Doesn't mean they wouldn't
don't
shove it
know.
on there. I mean, they shoved Xenoblade Chronicles on the 3DS.
Yeah, but
You
I
can
think
put a
the
lot
fact...
onto a 3DS.
Okay, question. Possibly a new topic. Did we see any 3DS games this whole direct?
No,
I don't think we did.
we did.
Doesn't
Well, I
Link's
really
Awakening
don't care,
remake
then.
seem like something that would normally be on 3DS?
I would have rather that
Yes.
on the 3DS.
I think 3DS is done.
3DS is.
Oh, I like the DS. Oh, this
no,
is why I
yes,
don't
it's
watch
absolutely
Nintendo
finished.
Direct.
but launch Persona Q2 isn't out in the West yet.
Try!
And this has been Bros in a Landfill!
We're
Signing
done already?
off!
Da, 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 da.